Hi there folks, my name is Novawing24 and welcome back to another exciting interview here at Flight Sim Expo 2024, and we are here with a long-time friend of the channel and a great interviewee, none other than Raul from FSReborn. Raul, great to have you back here again.
Hello.
Now Raul, I before we start, I am going to say that thanks for your interview, not only today, but also last year. It was amazing to realize and to see the comments on last year's interview of the number of people that didn't know who you were.
Oh.
They'd seen your aircraft, but they were sort of like, they didn't realize it was you. So that was pretty cool to see.
Pretty cool, yeah. Well, I love to be a developer that people can reach out and they actually talk to me and then give the feedback. It's one of the part of the job that I enjoy actually the most, is to be in contact with the community and actually see what they like, what they didn't like, what they love, what they don't love. And one of the more rewarding things is when I come here in FSReborn and you're walking through the hotel and someone, when I have my shirt, someone stops me and say, "Oh, you did this product, I love it," and they just chat to you about it, and it's just a wonderful experience. I just love that so much.
And of course, but before we get into talking about your products, I mean, that's something that I know why, I always encourage people to attend these events, because there is something special, as you said, about walking through and meeting other simmers.
That's right. People don't realize, but we developers actually talk to each other a lot.
Shock horror.
Yeah, it's a shock horror. It's like, for me, when I come here, it's like coming to see all my friends. And then you just go through booth to saying hello to your fellow developers, which people believe we're competitors. We're not. We're just actually friends. We're hugging each other. I was seeing faces of some customers saying, "You were sitting at a table there with Singular Studio, Cospur, and Black Square, and these people." Yes, we're all friends, really, because we just share the same passion.
And that's something to again, as you said, like, we all share a passion for virtual aviation, no matter what it looks like. Yeah. But speaking of passion in virtual aviation, of course, you recently released your Phenom, which of course is phenomenal.
No, we released the M500 first.
Sorry, well, the M500 first, but then we recently the Phenom. Yeah.
Now the Phenom is coming soon. We're on Alpha Stage 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
The first stage was something I did on M500, which was a mistake. I brought the pilots quite a later stage of the development.
Okay.
Because I wanted to get their feedback after I did everything based on manuals, right? And then, to my shock horror, they started telling me that the manuals were not correct. And then they started telling me that I was missing certain part of the 3D. But you are now in a such advanced stage where you have liveries done, LOD done, and certain things. So we accommodated all the requests the best possible, but not all of them were possible to accommodate at that point in terms of 3D changes.
And that's for the 500?
Yeah.
That was 500?
Yeah, that was 500. So we still have plans to update the 3D on V2 from that feedback that happened. So for Phenom, I changed
your workflow to bring them in earlier?
So what I did is actually I got real pilots that work for a private company. I don't want to say names on public. And they are helping me to QA the initial 3D, right? And
so you're bringing them in that early?
Before actually users, the pilot are seeing it first now, right? I was incredibly good because they opened no less than 100 tickets of changes on the 3D. Mm-hmm. Things that only them will know, no customers, right? And for example, one of the things that I asked me to change is say, "Oh, okay, the switch you did here is the one that exists on the old 300. The new 300Es have the switch that jumps up and go left. This is a 3 stages rather than the 2 stages.
Two-stage switch.
But it's something so simple. The switches still move, but they want it to be accurate. That is supposed to be...
Which of course everybody at home
that should be jumping,
well.
moving, and back. I said the 300 has it the way you have it, but the 3 is like this. And that happens because they are very similar planes, and you can get confused when you're doing the 3D, right? Yeah. That is normal. So thanks to bringing them that close, we should strip down all the changes that they're asking, even external, as long as it's not ridiculous, right? He wants a bolt that goes behind a piece that he sees when they're doing the walk through, and he asked the other pilot to have to pull the joke to check something. If something is behind a surface that you will never see it because you are in the plane. And I said, no, we're not focusing on that, but we're changing everything else that they ask. And that process was much better because now we know that there's no more 3D changes, right? That's it. The 3D model was complete 5 days before I came here.
Okay.
So when I go back, he's rendering the alpha version 2 and put it to the pilots again and say, are you happy now? Now they're going to probably say no, but we will then adjust what it is. In terms of systems, that will be the next stage where now I go and do the system. That's what takes the longer part. People believe the hard work is 3D. From the 100% stage of a project, I would say 20% is 3D. All the rest is systems and building, at least for my products.
And I think I definitely understand that, and maybe people at home may not, is that the 3D model, at the end of the day, it's a fixed thing, more or less. It is a fixed thing that's relatively easy to reference. But doing the avionics and the systems coding, I mean, you're talking about taking what in the real world is like hundreds of thousands of lines of code, and you're having to literally recreate that in the sim, almost one for one.
Plus other stuff. For example, on the M500, we wrote an entire system called the ground ops module, which bring the fuel truck and fuel your aircraft, and you see it happening, and all the cars coming.
Did you get the sports car in there as well?
Yes, and all the sport cars and all that kind of things, right? And the Phenom is going to have that, plus a top-up of something else I'm planning to do to it, to bring people the immersion that you really are into the private life or what these jets are about, right? I don't want to say what it is because it's a surprise for everybody. And that kind of things all around it. It's not just a 3D, it's integrating and making it happen. Making it happen when you are having a Microsoft Flight Simulator changing versions. Very excited with what we saw yesterday, what the SDK is going to allow me to do for that kind of things, on the new stuff that we can do. So that's why it takes the longest time. But it makes the product feel alive. I can tell everyone that the Phenom will have full season failures. I get texts from these two pilots of what goes wrong with their planes daily because they fly 5-7 times a day sometimes. I'm part of a private group where they are with all the pilots, and then when their plane goes wrong, I get a ping and I know what's going wrong, what code, okay, that's it. I know what goes wrong most all the time.
So and then you get your common failures.
I get common failures that could happen. Optionals, as usual with my product, you would say, I want it or no, I don't want it, right? But if you want it, you will experience what these people experience.
So one of the things I loved about the Sting was the fact that I can, it models all the way down to the lamp life hours and stuff like that. Are we going to see that again in the Phenom as well?
Yes, the Phenom will have all that plus more because what I'm getting is the feedback of what is different on the Phenom, right? So the M500 got all that, and we added more based on the aircraft type. And this type, engines are harder to destroy because you have FADEC, which is designed to prevent it, but FADEC can fail under certain circumstances and things that we are discussing, and therefore you will have engine failures, and you will have your gear going wrong, and you will have your aircon breaking, and you will have your brakes failing, and you will have all sorts of things around the plane that you're supposed to maintain, that if you don't, it will go wrong, right? And then you will experience all that kind of things. So that's coming. All the circuit breakers and all the system will be clickable. So you start pulling things out. Things will start working. So
I have a question though. If you're a more casual flyer, for example, because I love the level of detail that you go into. We just heard all the circuit breakers are going to be working, all your failures are modeled. But if I'm a more casual flyer who maybe doesn't want to have to worry about that, is that going to be supported for me? Am I going to be taken care of as well?
Exactly, because one of the things that I appreciate is that you have the spectrum of people that don't want to have it and people that want to have it, right? And one of the paradigms for certain third-party developers is what do I do? Do I make it simple and nothing else, or make it complex and nothing else? And I don't like to be split, so I do it both ways. So with the M500, for example, I put a wizard at the beginning, which is asking people, do you want failures? Do you like failures? Actually ask that questions. It's a wizard where the aircraft tweak himself and the core of the systems I develop, understand what the user is about. So it will say, are you a person that enjoys flying without being worried that you will have failure? Yes or no? And the person answers. So when they answer, it turns all systems behind it on and off, and the plane will be suitable for you. So you say disable everything. You can press Ctrl E and it goes, no problem. And you fly like a normal, simple plane that you could find out there in the market. But you say, well, actually, I've been flying a simple now for 3 weeks, and maybe I'm up to the challenge of what happens if I enable this. And you go on. Now you need to start taking care of your checklist and user manuals and tutorial that we provide, because you don't, then something is going to go wrong. Right? And this is what happened with M500 at the beginning, is that people thought that when I said failure, I meant a simple failure, but I was talking about the failures that happen on the real plane. And they're catastrophic. Right? So they thought that this was a script, and I don't know what they were expecting. They enable everything, and they press Ctrl E, and what happens is, if you do that, you put in the fuel too soon.
So fuel goes into
and then they started seeing engines blowing up, they started seeing generators blowing up, circuit breakers popping out, and all that kind of things. And they were surprised. They were happy and surprised, but then my Discord server got full up of people asking, why can't I start the plane anymore? Well, you enable everything, right?
And you didn't follow the checklist.
You didn't follow the checklist. I do follow the checklist, yes, but you're following the checklist, reading it while you are working on the plane. And also one other thing that happens, the starters on turboprops are very sensitive, because they are very powerful. And then if you run the starter forever, it burns. Right? It happened to TBMs, it happened to any PT6. So that's what happened. They were following the checklist, but you read one line.
But that's why, and that's why, and I know this from and I know this from real life experience, having flown turboprops, is that you have to, there are certain memory items, particularly in your engine start checklist. You can't be doing them reading it as you go. You have to pre-read and know where everything is, because that start sequence of it, especially of a PT6, takes a lot less time than you think it's going to take.
So and that's what happened. Then my hosts, they learn from that experience, my current customers, and then when the Phenom comes and he's asking the question, do you want everything on? I'm hoping they go, well, not at the beginning. Let me get used to it first. Learn it, read the manual, actually follow my checklist, learn the checklist, get used to my checklist, and then fire it up, and then get used to it. So I think that was very positive that we started like that. I went easy on them on the first release of M500 with the failures. I just released an update we're making now more complex, which is the real failures. And the forums and everything was very clean. So now they got it, right? So I'm very pleased about it. And this failure is because on a turboprop, you cannot put the fuel in and then the igniter. It's the other way around. Otherwise, you fuel the fuel in the chamber is full, and then it will just start. You start seeing flames, and then we did that. Now you see flames coming out, and all some things you do it wrong. People were doing it on purpose just to see the.
I was going to say, I mean, not gonna lie, I would 100% do it at least once on purpose to do that. So we've got hearing about all the great, the 500, we've got the Phenom coming as well. But of course, you announced a new product that is coming up sometime in the future, coming from. So what's this aircraft?
So, this aircraft is my favorite from all time. The one that I love the most is the Airliner 727-200, right? So you guys are saying, oh, look at the passion that this guy put in this little plane. You can't imagine how much I love this thing. It's just, for me, it's just my Everest, the dream of
the goal, the
goal,
peak,
and exactly what I want to fly probably all the time on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Because I want to bring it sooner than keep going with my normal growth as a business, I did a partnership with Singapore Studios, and we're doing it together, right? The 3D started this year. We got a pretty advanced. I will send you the link so you can link it to the interview so people can see it. And so the Phenom so people can see how far we are. And the plan is that we're going to do the entire series of the 727. Okay.
So, and in one pack, or are you going to do them
Slowly, progressively,
Okay, slowly, right.
So the plan is to do the largest one first, so everyone gets access to the one that most people will want first, which will be the 727-200 Advance. This version we are planning to do in a way that it works in accordance with the aircraft that we have access to currently. It's a plane based in the United States. And this plane has been upgraded because VORs are disappearing, right?
Yeah.
So accordingly, what happens, you're going to have a plane that you can fly both ways. You will have all the sting gauges like a normal 727, but it has been upgraded with UNS, FMS computers.
Okay, right. So it's the later, as you said, the later versions.
Very, very, very similar to a 737 FMS system, but it's a universal one.
Yep.
And you have a MFSD in the center, which has the TCAS, the flight plan, and a radar weather.
Okay. So a lot there for the normal tube-line flyers at the moment. Yeah.
The normal thing that you will need for this. So it's two of the units, two computers for the flight computer management system, plus the MFD, and the autopilot capable to fly all over. So you will be a pilot on this thing that you can decide you want to fly, use VOR the whole way. I love it. That's it. I love my sting gauges. Okay, thumbs up. Or you say, well, actually, I'm EFR pilot. I want to put my flight plan in there, and do all my sort of things and fly accordingly to my autopilot doing things. And when I want to land it, I want to land it, right? So it will fulfill that market. Okay, so that's the plan with it. The autopilot is a basic autopilot, but it flies with a computer, approaches and everything. It's incredible. ELS and everything. And so we will bring the 200 first. We're planning a price below $80 for that.
So, below 80. Okay.
Below 80. And then we will bring the estimation is a year after the airliner, the 200. Why a year? Because even when we're releasing a full product that is complete, airliners are a different game, and we're expecting that there will be things to tweak. We want to give ourselves time to clear all those up, because we are planning the entire series, and what you don't want is to give people one after another too quick, and then you still have things to fix.
And that's really interesting, and I think a really positive thing for the community, that you're building that time, going, you can, because it doesn't matter how good a product is, it never survives first contact with the public. So you built that plan in.
Especially this type of projects, because they are quite large. So maybe it will be fine. And then if it's fine in 4 months, then we hit the other one, because all the 3Ds are being worked on, right? So it's not like it's lack of not having it. It's just that we want to ensure that the first is all cleaned up. All right, and then we'll move on and come with the cargo. The cargo version will be just a simple upgrade.
The 200 cargo?
Yeah, so you need to own the base, right? So you own the base, and if you own it, you can get the cargo for $15 to $20, and that's it. But it's not just the plane. It will come with the craziness that FSReborn do, right? So we're planning a full cargo operations module with the aircraft. An example, and something I'm planning to do already, because I discussed it with Alex and tell me, I don't know where you get these things from. So we will give you a mission, then we give you a profile of what you could expect from the cargo aircraft with us. All right, you want to use the cargo, and that's it, you can do it. Or you can say, well, let me go to this stuff that Raul creates. And you go there, okay, give me a cargo mission. Okay, welcome here, pilot. You need today to transfer live flowers, from Amsterdam to UK. Here is your specification cargo sheet. You decided you're not going to read it, because who reads things, right? So you didn't read it. And then you forgot to read that it says that this type of flowers requires this particular temperature, and you need to pressurize the cabin to this particular altitude, because it's not the same thing transferring humans at 9,000 feet pressurization. That flowers at 9,000 feet. You will kill them. Right, so you have to manage the cargo, and you are on the plane and you forgot to read it and you didn't pay attention to it. We will animate the flowers going, and put the camera there so you see what you have done. Oh man, you just killed your cargo.
That's insane.
You land and sorry, but
you're not getting paid for this job.
this job, we're not going to hire you again, right? Because you just kill everything. And this is one particular example. Same thing, you are traveling light goods like fish, right? The light goods and fish requires another type of quality environment on the cargo. For example, they will put pumps and lightings and things, and that controls the electricity.
Yep.
When you are dealing with the 727s, it's a very old planes, and the flying engineer is ensuring that the amps of things are actually active. You will need to ensure that you are cargo fish. Those amps are there because it's the old type of planes. Right now you have inverters and things that are very modern and keep the voltage okay, right?
But those aircraft didn't have that.
Yeah. In that area, the flying engineer was sitting there monitoring things.
Yeah.
Because when people were, for example, flight attendants were putting on the galleon and stuff like that, the amps and stuff starts shifting, and the flying engineer will adjust the generator.
So on that, so you're intending to model the full 3 crew setup?
Oh yes.
Will you have? Will an aviator have some form of assistance, or will they be expected to do all 3?
Put II engineer, we will call it, but it's not II.
Yeah.
It's more like an assistant that can do it for you, optional. And EFB, you will say, no, I don't want to do the third position.
Yep.
I want someone to do it for me.
Yep.
Or you can say, I want to do it because it's fun, right? And I used to do it on FSX with the versions of 727 we used to have at the time. I used to go through all of them because it was fun. It was fun to try to turn the engine, and you could see the generator losing power, and then you have to do something to cater for it. So you're doing the fish cargo, and you didn't pay attention, and the pumps will die. Floating fish now when you land.
That sounds an incredible amount of detail you go into that one.
So you're getting for $15 to $20, not just a plane. You're getting an experience of how cargo missions really are. Pilots have to think these things when they are doing these cargo missions. And in the past, it was even more complex than it is now. Then after that, probably 6 months after the cargo is out, we're hitting you with the 727-100 and the Advance. Again, all you need to do is own the base. You don't need to own the cargo. You need to own the base.
Yep.
And then you get it for $15, $20. You get 2 planes now because it will be the normal 100 airliner plus the VIP version.
Yep.
And the VIP version will have VIP modules, just like the cargo version has cargo modules. And those VIP modules are being developed right now for Phenom. Right.
And this sounds like you're going to be able to tie in with a lot of what we've seen coming out from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and that's sort of where you're hoping this is going to go, and like what you're hoping to see for that.
Oh yes, I knew this was going to go this way, and that's why I have these plans and things on the roadmap already. I was thinking like 5 years ahead when I'm doing stuff. So the 727 VIP will be within those lines, and the surprises I'm doing for Phenom will be included in that one.
Yep.
So people will be able to enjoy that kind of side of things on the immersion plus the plane. Again, you don't want to use it, you don't use them. You can just fly like a normal airliner, like you fly your 737s or Airbuses or whatever, but you have that option that gives you something more. My way to do add-ons is like this. Never to forget that all these airliners are going to have full failures, like I do for all my products.
Yep.
Alex was worried, I'm going to have enough circuits. And I went and asked Sabo. I said, yes, we do, Alex, look. Okay, oh my God. Right, because I'm planning to make it all like this. Yep. So after we're done with the 700 and
so far we've got the 200.
So you have the 200.
Yep.
You have the cargo.
We've got the
you
100,
have the 100
advance. Yep.
And then you have the VIP. So that's 4.
Yep.
Then we will do the oil spillage and firefighting. So you get 2 more.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. That is a very low-end upgrade for us. It's very specific.
Yep.
And we want to offer it for even lower because we want more people to use it. We want to make it so tentative that you cannot say, okay, I'm not going to get it. So we're planning that one like at $10.
Okay.
Right, and you get 2 planes, and the oil spillage is something that is very iconic. They still do it with special chemicals that go on the sea when there's an oil spillage just to contain it. And the firefighting, obviously, we have seen what 2024 can do now with firefighting, and then
and especially with the firefighting coming in the new sim, there's a lot of support for that.
So you own the base. You don't own the base, and you want only the oil spillage. You buy the base. Now you have an airliner.
Yep.
Right, with all the stuff that we're planning for the airliner. Plus, you have now the firefighting and the other one, which is only $10.
So, I mean, you've got that's a huge roadmap that you've got planned here, like a lot of detail, and I like the fact that, you know, you've optimizing this for going, okay, if you only want to fly a particular type, you know, it's not like you're having to pay $80 again for the whole aircraft. You're only going, okay, I get the base aircraft, which is the common airframe across all the variants, you know, give the common systems, and then I just want this specific upgrade. So, you know, for me, I'm, you know, for my audience knows, I'm not very a tube liner pilot. However, you know, cargo or firefighting missions are what interests me. So for me, you know, I would go, okay, I'm not really interested in that, but I'm interested in the firefighting or the cargo. That might be something I could look at. So that sounds like you got, now, when, the multi-million-dollar question, of course, you know, when? Everybody wants to know when.
We have another series that we haven't finished yet. So after you go there,
more folks.
Yeah. So you have already now the 200.
Yep.
The cargo.
Yep.
You got the 100. Yep. The VIP.
Yep.
The oil spillage. Yep. The firefighting. Yep. And we're gonna do the 0G.
Oh, the vomit comets.
Yeah, vomit comet. Yep. Where you go up and down. Yep. Again with a module of to give you that immersion that you're doing.
Training goes
that you go in the training for the astronauts that are gonna go on a mission, whatever, right? Depending how well you did, will give you a rate of success of those astronauts when they went into the launch. That one we're planning to do for $5, basically, right? So the idea is that we want those two to actually be purchased for people, so they have that experience here, because this is a type of mission that existed in the past. It's a legacy thing. I want to leave behind a legacy. Right. This is my Everest, and I want people to remember me somehow by something.
You're going to be the Hillary of the 727 Everest, that's for sure.
It's my favorite aircraft of all time, and I want this to stay in history. And I want to give it to people the best way possible. So I discussed with Alex, we did the maths. You can get the entire thing for like 160 or something like that. I mean, but slowly as well, right? So you give the opportunity to people. And we're very happy with that approach, and we're happy we're going to get on the basis. We're having meetings with people here on the Expo to see if we could accelerate the project via another third partnership. We secured one partnership with Parallel 42. They're going to do the immersion packages for it, and it will be part of the plane. So you will not need to buy
an add-on. It'll be a part of the aircraft.
Yeah, when you get our 727, it will have immersion in there. We're dealing with them behind the scenes. You just buying the plane for the price I said, and has it.
And I have to say that I've always loved Parallel 42's immersion packs. Going all the way back to the old FSX and prepared days, I've always loved them and a huge amount of respect for them. So that sounds great that you're going to include them as part of the package, not a third-party purchase.
We're trying to include something else. We're still discussing it. If that goes well, we could be very fast delivering the aircraft. So we're waiting for that. I will know in a couple of weeks or something. If that happens, they will get the product in 10 months, so they can do their bit, and then we could hit the market much faster. The idea is that Phenom continues, so I deliver Phenom, no delays, right? Well, things are happening with the 727, that's the whole point of partnership. Neither is delaying project for Alex, because the way that we have structured the entire project is that we can continue with our current roadmap without affecting our release of the individual things. In fact, I'm releasing a plane in 2 months, which is the TL3000, right? Because I'm doing now parallel projects. And then the sensing continues. But we just wanted to make the announcement that that's coming, and the structure that we're planning, to be fair to the community and us, right? So yes, why I need a base package when I want only the 0G? Because all the hard work for all of them is going on the base package. That's where we have done all the developing all the time, and we're giving you an extra on each of them anyway. So every time I'm doing another series that we're going to release together with Singapore Studios, we are adding a code to it that did something else, and it's done by me. FSReborn.
So that sounds like a huge project moment, but I think also important for everybody to remember that, for those who are looking forward to the Phenom, this isn't going to delay the Phenom or anything like that. But this is a plan for the future, so that's great. So Raul, thank you so much for that. As I said, I'm not normally an airliner pilot, folks, but I'm excited to hear about the 727 because I have to admit that one of my earliest memories is actually flying down the back of a 727 from Ansett, Australia. So when it was actually just Ansett Airlines back in those days.
It's iconic, and the thing is that from the country I come from, I flew on these things when I was between 20 to 27 years old. So it's still live on my memory. And I know how these things fly. I know how they feel as a passenger. Right? As a pilot, we have real pilots of the thing that are contacting us now that will be helping us clearly. So that the experience that I have is still living on my memory, like the sounds, the way that one of the iconic things of this plane is when you sit on the wind view windows and the pilot puts the gear down. You are a kid, you feel scared because you've heard it.
And that giant thunk when it goes through.
You heard the thumb under your feet. You could feel it on your feet. It's a total different kind of animal. And all that kind of thing we're going to bring back.
Fantastic. Folks, look, Raul, thank you so much for sharing your vision. Folks, it's always amazing to hear Raul. I don't know if you can tell, but the passion that Raul has, I really hope these interviews really show Raul's passion because it is something that is iconic here in the flight simulation community. It really is. So, Raul, thanks very much for joining us. Folks, thanks you two as well for joining us as well, and take care. Stay safe, guys. We'll see you on the next interview. Bye for now.